Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to another Motovlog. In today's video, I'll be talking a little bit about this past weekend's Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, which took place at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Now, I actually went to this Grand Prix last year. It just wasn't during the same time of year because of the pandemic. They had it go in October for 2021, but they were back on schedule out there in April, and it was a very exciting race indeed. So if you haven't watched the race yet, go check it out, come on back, and then let's talk about it. Did you watch it yet? Okay, good. Let's go. So for most of the race, it was looking like we might have our fourth different winner of the 2022 MotoGP season. But with just a few laps to go, Enea Bastianini took charge and just ran away with it. It was incredible to watch the pace that he had during the race and how comfortable he looked on his GP21. So this brings about his second race win of 2022. Pretty amazing. Dude is not a rookie, but it's his second year in MotoGP. Side note, I just put my rear wheel back on after getting the new tire fitted, and I recalibrated my APRC, and whoo, my quick shifter works noticeably better than it did before that. I hadn't recalibrated my APRC system since I got the last new tire put on, which was back in November, and I think I'm going to do that more often now. I had originally tried to do it every like 500 to 1,000 miles or so, but fell out of habit with that. Definitely think it's worth it. Something I should get back into the habit of. But anyways, Enea Bastianini took the win, starting from 5th place on the grid. Our starting grid was Jorge Martin on pole, Jack Miller in 2nd, and Pecco Bagnaia in 3rd. And Jack was the only rider that started on the front row and managed to finish there in 3rd place. So we saw a solid charge from Alex Rins as well throughout the race. Alex Rins stormed from 7th to 2nd. He was caught up in a group of guys going into turn 1 and in a first lap scuffle for sure, and he was definitely having to put in some work on that Suzuki to get around the Ducatis. They were just running away from him on the straights. It was insane to watch. Tuck into the slipstream behind them and they'd still just walk away. That Ducati engine is something else entirely. But Alex is an expert at managing his tires, and that Suzuki is definitely looking a lot better than it has in past seasons. While it may not be on par with the Ducati in terms of power, it still does have a good amount now, and man, does that look like one of the best, if not the best, cornering bike out there. Jack got the whole shot, led most of the race, so that was really exciting and awesome to see, and he did his absolute best to fend off Bastianini and Rins. I've said it before, I am a Jack Miller fan. I was leaning a little back towards Aprilia after Aleix Espargaro's maiden victory and Aprilia's maiden victory in MotoGP last weekend. But I still love Jack Miller. I love the Aprilia boys because I love Aprilia, obviously. Big fan of the brand and their bikes. But Jack just kind of speaks to me. He's definitely the rider that I think I relate most to. Speaking of the Aprilias, while they didn't have the best weekend, they actually did pretty alright, all things considering. Neither Aleix nor Maverick could make it out of Q1 into Q2, so Aleix started from 13th on the grid, Maverick started from 14th. It was great to see him not really going backwards and eventually finishing in the top 10. So proud of him on that. Keep up the form, Maverick. And Aleix as well, finishing in a higher position than he started. Good stuff. Very happy to see it. So it looked like Martin, Zarco, and Jack were all starting to struggle with grip towards the end of the race, particularly Martin. He definitely went back a lot further than I was expecting him to. I wasn't totally sure if he was going to win the race. He was definitely one of my favorites too, but definitely expected to see him on the podium. But I'm sure he'll be back in great form. I believe he finished in 8th place. Gotta say though, it's going to be very interesting to see what this means for the championship. Aleix was leading it, Aprilia was leading it coming out of the last race, down in 3rd now, but again, it's just the start of the season. We're 4 races in. We'll be at Portimao in Portugal in 2 weeks' time. Glad to see Jack back in fighting form. Hopefully Pecco can join him up there towards the front again, on the front row on the podium in the next couple races. like Pecco as well. And hopefully Fabio and Yamaha can do something. Mostly Yamaha, because Fabio is an amazing rider and he can really make some magic with the Yamaha, but he's just outgunned everywhere compared to everybody else. Like, I think it's kind of clear at this point that the Yamaha is the least competitive bike on the grid now. And to have somebody trying to defend a world title with that is going to be really hard. Still don't know what they're going to be able to do or what they can do at this point to add power to the bike. Might not even be allowed at this point in the season, but we'll see. And we'll see if Fabio can make the best of it. When we go into tracks that are more flowing and have more emphasis on corner speed, not so much on acceleration, top speed, he's pretty competitive still. But Circuit of the Americas is a very mixed track in regards of fast corners and straightaways, hard braking zones. My understanding is even though they resurfaced the track, it's still fairly bumpy too compared to what the MotoGP guys are used to riding over in Europe. But anyways, congrats to Enea Bastianini for taking his second MotoGP win, second win for Gresini Racing, and that's 2 wins on Ducati's bike from last year, so that's pretty incredible. Great job to Alex Rins. He's definitely had a hard last year or so. He had 4 DNFs in a row last year. That was pretty insane. So really glad to see him back in fighting form as well. And then I gotta take my hat off for Marc Marquez, because whew, despite having that issue, I still don't know what happened, if his pit lane limiter was on or if his traction control was up too high or something. But he had some issue coming off the line from 9th that dropped him all the way back to last place. Still finished 6th. And he had the pace, I think, to be fighting at the front with Bastianini for the win, if he hadn't made that mistake at the beginning. So great to see him back in form too. Really looking forward to seeing him out in Portugal and what he can do there. I would love to see a dogfight between him and Bastianini. Would be very exciting indeed. But with that, what did you think about the race? How did you feel with the results? How did you feel about the riders? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would sincerely appreciate it if you gave me a gentle little click of the like button and consider subscribing for more motorcycling content like this. I like to go to the racetrack too and do a little bit of club racing myself. So if you like motorcycles, I think we can be friends. Didn't quite click the blipper all the way on that one. Thank you so much for watching. That'll help